Anne, the Disciple, also known as the Herald, is one of the 31 playable hunters in Identity V. Added to the game in February of 2020, Anne is a tall, bony woman with long limbs, especially her neck. She has a blue-grayish skin that is clearly rotting. Her face is covered by a white mask with a few cracks and a black thing that resembles tear streaks. Her eyes are one of her most noticeable traits, amber irises with black sclera that resembles cat eyes. And last but not least, she wears something that resembles a nun outfit. We'll go back to that later, and wields a wooden cross, and she has a cute little cat. I know there's other 4 hunters that use the same exact concept, but in my opinion hers is the best in execution. And the closest thing we have to an actual scary hunter. I don't care if you think she's a free hit, OP, easy hunter to use. She's my OP, free hit, easy hunter to use, and I love her. If you hate her so much, you can go play Norton and make my life impossible in rank. Anne was born in a village into a Christian family in the late 800s. Both Anne and her mother Hannah were very devoted, and religion was a very important part of their lives. A mysterious disease struck the village and other regions, leaving death behind it. To make matters worse, Anne's eyes became unusual due to a disease, most likely polychoria, at the same time that the plague broke out, causing her neighbors and community to call her the Eye of the Devil, thinking that she was possessed or cursed, and that the plague was her fault. Not long after, her mother fell ill. During this time, in one of Anne's deductions, it is mentioned that her father prayed to a cat-shaped statue while she stayed next to her mother in bed. Now, I always thought that this was the point where Anne's father deviated from Christianism and became a follower of the Eye of Darkness, a fictional religion inside the Identity V universe that we'll talk on later. However, I came across a post by Tumblr user Hulabalus Honeybee that theorized that Anne's family were never actually Christians, but instead worshipped the Eye of Darkness. I don't think that's the case, but I think it's a nice way to look at it and a fun theory. Moving on, Anne's mother died, and her father's fanaticism for the cat-like god only seemed to increase, as in a chance and hope to save her daughter from the discrimination that she faced in their community. In one of her character's date letters, Anne tells her aunt Laura about a man that her father invited over, Alba Lawrence, who shared the same religion as Anne's father. To make matters worse for the girl, her father also died to the same disease as her mother. The villagers became jealous of the wealth that Anne inherited, which only made the hatred that they had for her increase. This caused Anne to become very paranoid and develop hallucinations due to the stress. And we can see that she went to get a diagnosis, but once again everything was blamed on her being possessed. Anne was desperate. Everything she ever knew turned their back on her, her community, and the religion she once loved so much. In one last attempt on salvation, she went out on a night to the church, where on her way she was stabbed in the chest with a wooden cross and left to die. As she bled out, a cat-shaped shadow appeared in front of her and promised to grant her wish if she sacrificed the last bit of her faith. Sometime later, another epidemic broke out, which mysteriously only targeted certain regions. We don't know if this was Anne's doing or some kind of punishment by the Eye of Darkness, but with a newfound purpose, Anne left with her father's old brother in faith, Alba, to preach their religion, and that's how they ended at the Otlios Manor. For the moment, we don't know if they participated in any games. That will conclude all the information we have on Anne's backstory. To be fair, a lot of this is my own interpretation since the Identity V lore isn't the most clear, so let me know if I missed anything or if I got something wrong. With that out of the way, I want to dedicate this last section of this video to give out some theories and cool facts that I found. Both Alba and Anne have similar stories. They both died and were brought back by the cat. So why does Alba look fairly normal while Anne looks like a walking corpse? Well, in Alba's trailer we can see that he had a proper funeral and maybe was embalmed. On the other hand, Anne technically didn't die. She was still alive, bleeding out as she spoke with the cat, and according to Google, a large amount of blood loss can cause paleness and greyish color on the skin, meaning that she was probably already like that, and the cat just stopped her from dying. Disposed flesh, on the other hand, could mean two things. She is actively rotting, or she got further injured by whoever murdered her. I heard some people say that her face was cut into cat-like gestures and that is why she wore her mask, but I have no idea where this rumor come from. I even believed it for a while. But no, this is just in one of her skins. My other theory is that Anne isn't actually a nun. I know she looks like one, but even the wiki has my back on this one, so hear me out. Although her appearance and trailer make it kinda obvious that she was a nun, we never actually get nothing that confirms in any of her letters or in her deductions, and it kind of doesn't make sense. We know that she wasn't born with the polychoria, it was most likely developed, so if everyone, including the church, hated her so much, why would they let her be a nun, especially in the 1800s? And even if they let her become one, her father disagreed with the church treatment of her daughter and wouldn't have allowed it. However, she could have been a nun before she developed the polychoria, but once again, I'm not sure how these kind of things work. So I don't know if she should have been living in a convent, which she was not because she was with her mother on her deathbed. Also, in her letter to her aunt Laura, we get that she had to take care of the animals, so she was probably working on that, being a shepherd or some kind of farmer. So although nothing about being a nun is mentioned anywhere, something that is mentioned is a morning gown that looked like this. It is possible that she was actually wearing this. Besides, this is a bit inconsistent with the lore of their characters. So hopefully in a future we get something that either confirms or denies this. Moving on, Anne dislikes flames. Why? First of all, her story has several themes of light versus dark, how light has hurt her, and in her trailer the sun is mentioned a lot. So, flames produce light, and individuals with polychoria are often sensitive to light, meaning that this hate or fear of the flames may come from the fact that they produce light and hurt her, metaphorically and physically. Second, it is obvious that her story takes a lot of inspiration from the witch trials that ended in the 17th and 18th century in Europe. That's where identity theft most likely takes place. So it was possible that Anne knew about the trials and maybe saw one and was afraid that something similar was going to happen to her. Returning to the first point, according to Google, some individuals with polychoria may experience blurry vision, particularly in bright light, as the extra pupils may affect the clarity of the image, and Anne's cat let her see survivors through walls and obstacles, so maybe they ate her. Don't ask about her neck. I have no idea what's happening with her neck. I couldn't find any explanations. I just seen that some people had canon that she had scoliosis. Well, that will be all from my part. Hopefully this video can help spread the grayness of her lore, and if you still banning her in rank, use Flywheel. Flywheel will be your best friend, or Ellie or Norton. They are my nightmares as an Anne main.